Friday, 5 p.m. One click on a fake email, and the company goes dark. Email is down. Files are locked. Critical systems stop working. This is what ransomware looks like in real life. And yet, by Monday morning, people log in like normal. Let's break down how that happens. In the next 8 minutes, you'll learn 3 things. What cyber resilience really means, the simple recovery roadmap teams use, and why restoring identity first is the fastest way to regain control after an attack. Cybersecurity reduces the chance of a breach. That's prevention. Cyber resilience is what happens after. How fast and fully you can recover when prevention fails. For many businesses, downtime is the real disaster. Lost money, lost trust, and days of chaos. Key takeaway: resilience is speed and control after impact. Let's start from the beginning. Having a plan is only half the battle. You must test your recovery plan regularly. This reveals gaps and ensures your team knows their roles. Regular drills build muscle memory for critical moments. Start with tabletop exercises. These discussions walk through scenarios without touching systems. Then move to technical tests, restoring non-production environments. This validates your backups and procedures. Document all findings and update your playbook. Let's see how it plays all out in a detailed roadmap from Friday to Monday. On Friday, the goal is not fix everything, it's to stop the damage. Teams isolate affected machines, block suspicious access, and assume the network is not trusted. That mindset matters. Assume impact, not just breach. Now let's talk about what makes that Monday comeback possible. It's mostly decided before Friday ever happens. It's decided in the prepare phase. First, immutable backups. That means backups that can't be easily changed or deleted by attackers. Ransomware groups often try to destroy backups first. Immutable backups make that harder, giving you a clean snapshot you can trust. Second, a recovery playbook. This is a clear list of steps and roles, so you don't improvise under stress. In a crisis, people fall to the level of their preparation. A playbook turns chaos into steps. Third, an identity recovery plan. Identity is how users and admins prove who they are. This includes systems like Active Directory, your single sign-on, or SSO, provider, and multi-factor authentication, or MFA. Attackers love to live in identity systems, because if they control identity, they control everything else. Key takeaway: preparation decides recovery speed. Saturday morning is the turning point. A resilient team doesn't restore file servers first. They restore identity first, because identity is the control plane. Many teams make the mistake of restoring data first. They rush to bring file servers back online. But if attackers still control your accounts, restoring servers can hand them access again. You restore the server, and they re-encrypt it. So in Identity-Centric Recovery, the order changes. You restore control first. Then you restore systems. This is the concept beginners should remember. Identity is the keys to the kingdom. If you can't trust identity, you can't trust anything connected to it. Here's a beginner-friendly checklist for identity-centric recovery. First, freeze privileged access. Privileged accounts are the most powerful accounts, the ones attackers want most. During an incident, you reduce the number of people and systems that can make major changes. You lock it down temporarily. Second, reset admin accounts. You assume some credentials may be stolen. So you rotate passwords, reset privileged accounts, and remove unknown accounts. You also review admin group memberships. Who has elevated permissions, and should they? Third, reset service accounts. Service accounts are often forgotten because they run quietly in the background. But attackers love them. They may have broad permissions and rarely get rotated. So you identify critical service accounts and rotate them as part of recovery. Fourth, reissue MFA and revoke old sessions. MFA is great, but if an attacker stole a token or hijacked a session, they can persist even after a password reset. So you revoke active sessions, force reauthentication, and reissue MFA where needed. Fifth, verify clean authentication paths. This means checking that logins behave as expected. Who can log in? From where? To which systems? You validate that your authentication and authorization flow is clean before bringing everything fully online. Key takeaway: regain control before restoring systems. Once identity is under control, Sunday is for restoring systems. This is the recover phase. Use immutable backups and restore into a clean environment. This helps prevent reinfection. Restoring into a compromised network can just re-trigger the same attack. Start with the systems the business needs most. Not everything needs to come back at once. A beginner way to think about it is restore what makes money first. Customer-facing systems, core applications, authentication services, then internal tools. A resilient team validates each restoration step. They don't just restore and hope. They restore, verify, monitor, and only then expand. This is why cyber resilience isn't just we have backups. It's we have a tested recovery process. Key takeaway. Identity first, then backups, then verified restoration. By Monday, people log in normally. That's business continuity, the ability to keep operating. Final recap, prepare, respond, recover. And the big lesson, restore identity first to regain control, then restore systems. If you're new to this, start here. 1. Confirm you have immutable backups. 2. Write a simple recovery playbook. 3. Add identity recovery steps, admin resets, MFA reissue, and a clean directory plan. Would your business bounce back that fast? Subscribe for beginner-friendly cybersecurity guidance. Also explore our blog post about identity-centric recovery. Assume impact. Plan recovery. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.